Hello and welcome to the latest instalment of the Rangers Women's Supporters Group podcast. I'm not even going to ask Alan and Car how they are, because if it's like how I am, it's not going to be very positive. We did have a couple of games this week, so we'll jump straight into the first one. We obviously went to K Park midweek to take on Motherwell in a foggy, cold evening. So we started with Fife, Hill, Rafferty, Devlin, Howitt, Bell, Macaulay, Arnott, Cornett, McCleary, and Wilkinson. Were you happy with that, Alan?
Yeah, I was happy to see us keep the shape of the team. You know, recent sort of we've seen that 3-5-2 playing one deeper and two in front. You know, it was good to see, and Megan getting a run of games. You know, first time in quite a while we've seen her start 3 games in a row. But I was slightly surprised that the 2 strikers that played at West Dyke, it was Kirsty that stayed in the team. I thought Jane might have kept her place, but you know, reasonably happy with that. And as you say, it was foggy and it was freezing, and it was a horrible night to play football and let alone stand outside and watch.
Hey, Car, so we got a goal fairly early. Wilco getting a goal, and then unlike most of the games we've had this season, that was the only goal of the game. But Wilco came close a few other times, hitting the woodwork. She was quite unlucky not to get probably a hat trick, but it seemed to be one of those nights. It was just cold and miserable. The game kind of turned out that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Demi asked at the game if the K Park goals are smaller than the regular goals, because we seem to be hitting the post and the crossbar more than we were doing anything else. But started quite well. Lizzie put a cross in and Wilco headed it into the bottom corner. Couldn't ask for much more. We initially thought it was bad goalkeeping. I think I texted you saying that terrible goalkeeping, but actually not as bad when you watch the highlights back of what it looked like at the time. So thought we'd kick on and do quite well, and then not to be.
Yeah, it was good, obviously. But unlucky play, kind of hitting the woodwork that many times, but then also it's quite unlike us not to go on and kick on and get a few more goals.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I thought we'd probably have got a lot of joy out of Mia. Mia was doing really well. You know, Katie was showing well, but it just didn't seem to click. You know, and after obviously scoring so many goals at the weekend, you're hoping we'd actually left some to actually go and score on Wednesday night. But it just looked like I was going to be probably quite early on. It looked like it was maybe going to be one of the games where it was just going to be a bit of a drag. You know, I was saying we were talking about it earlier. You know, actually slowed the game down to change the set of match balls around the pitch to the yellow balls. You know, to go and actually find him, because the visibility was getting quite bad, and it was just a really sort of depressing game to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, Car, so 3 points was obviously the most important thing, and results elsewhere fell our way with Glasgow City and Hearts drawn, so it set up the weekend quite nicely.
It did. I said that it made it quite comfortable, so to speak, going into Sunday. That meant that even if we drew, we'd be all right. Optimistic me on Thursday morning, thinking that was going to be the case, and then obviously the game kicks off on Sunday, and never mind.
Yeah, so we'll just get straight to it. Alan, we started with Fife, Docherty, Eddie, Hill, Hay, Hardy, Cornett, McLean, McLaughlin, McCleary, and Wilkinson. Didn't seem too strange until we actually seen them line up on the park, and the formation was a bit bizarre.
Yeah, it was literally a head scratching lineup. You're looking at it; it looks kind of strong in terms of looking at the names, but then you're trying to work out how it's. We're actually got to see the team line up, and we thought maybe Jodie was going to play wide, where she's not played much at all since early last season. But to see that sort of set up and that formation and playing some of our most effective players at a position was baffling.
Yeah, Cash, the game kicks off. So we see that basically it was like a 4-2-2-2 or something. It was like Chelsea and Brogan were pretty much in behind Rio and Katie. So it just seemed bizarre that we had neglected the width, which is one of our strong points, I would say. And we went so narrow, kind of packed the midfield, but I don't, from what I've seen in Glasgow City, and I didn't watch them that often, but they didn't really go through the midfield that often. They're quite good at using the width, so you think we'd kind of tried to match. They obviously had seen something that they kind of identified and went that this is the way to go, but it just obviously wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they watched the Wednesday game from Glasgow City and Hearts and thought, it'll be fine. We can pack the midfield and it will overload them and it'll be absolutely fine. It's just baffling when you've got Brogan basically playing in the centre of midfield at one point, basically right behind the strikers, which is not a position that Brogan's ever really played in. She's always out wide. That's her strongest attribute, playing out wide and getting balls in. Fair enough, it's a bit windy, so she maybe couldn't do long balls in, but she could get the ball on the deck and play balls into the box. But just bizarre. And then Ailey's, had a couple of games where she's been on the bench and come on, and then she's standing at the side of the pitch. Same with Megan. I understand we had midfielders come back, Liv, Kirsty McLean, which are probably stronger, but Leah's not played for 3 games, Nick's been out for a few games, and yet Ailey Austin standing on the side of the pitch, which could have offered us a bit more width in going forward. But Joe made the decisions, the team played the way they did, so hopefully they never play like that again.
Yeah, it's a strange one when you don't know if the players were rested. I think Nick did have a bit of a knock, so I think she was always going to come back in. But for like Celia Eddy to be out and then come straight back in, and then she ended up having to go off because she had obviously picked up a knock. So Joe seems to be tinkering a lot with the team where it doesn't need tinkered with. Like if a player's doing well, just let them, and they're having a good run of games, stick with it.
Last season we played 3-5-2 all season until the Scottish Cup final. Randomly we played 4-4-2, but all season we played 3-5-2, and we were a couple of mistakes away from winning the treble. So it wasn't something that needed fixed, but switching formations constantly, there's no way that helps the players. There's absolutely no way that's good for the players. Yeah, on paper it's nice that we can be versatile and change things up a wee bit and have a plan B, but it seems almost like we don't have a plan A right now when the players are struggling with that.
Yeah, so despite the dodgy formation and teams coming back, players coming back in when they've been kind of out in the cold, and it seemed like we were going to get in at half time 0-0, and Joe could kind of change it either back to what worked or whatever, but alas, no. Jenna Fife comes running out her box, makes a total you-know-what it, and we go 1-0 down.
Baffling, isn't it? Well, I mean, it's not that baffling, it's Jenna Fife, to be honest, but she's had a good run of games where she's done quite well, got a couple of player of the matches for me, and I thought we turned her corner, but then she comes running out, miskicks the ball, doesn't make contact with the ball at all. Brenna Lavera bumps into her, she's already halfway down on the pitch. The lassie kicks the ball past her. Defender Kathy can't get back. Leah probably should have ran back because she was closer to the ball. But before it gets to that point, Leah probably needs to say to Jenna, I'll take it, and just smash the ball out of play instead of letting Jenna try and do that. It's so bizarre. I really don't understand why this keeps happening. Just stay in your box. It's not difficult. Just stay in the box and then let the defenders deal with it. And then if it gets to you, you can make a save if you need to. But no.
Yeah, I'm yet to see Jenna running out at the ball and actually work coming off, so we can stop doing it. So we go on 1-0 down at half time. Alan, something we're not really used to. I think we spent the majority half time trying to figure out what happened in the first half. But it never got any better in the second half, did it?
No, it really didn't. The couple of subs at half time we expected. Jodie and Liv had been booked in the first half, and there's no point in risking that. And the shape wasn't working, so changed the shape, brought Lizzie and Charlie on, went back to a more familiar sort of shape, and we did start the second half a bit better. We did start getting forward more, but calamity in defence again. Just seems to be we don't tend to concede worldies. We just concede bad goals. And it was noted, a couple of people mentioned that Jenna looked quite upset coming out after half time. So I think that's when the team will need to sort of rally around everybody and support Jenna particularly, because she does take a lot of flack. And I think it wasn't just on her that first goal, but the calamity for the second goal, just a complete mess in the box and an utter failure to be able to clear the lines.
Yeah, Karen, we thought, right, we can get back into this. It's only 2-0, and then no, they score again, and then by then it looks like it's pretty much game over. I was saying to you, it's fine, we'll win 4-3. You're like, from where? We've barely had a decent shot on goal. But I'm always optimistic, but no, it was just not going to happen. So fair play, their player got a hat trick, but it's just, as Alan is saying there, it's just always us gifting them goals rather than a team working really hard, breaking us down and getting goals. And after last season losing on goal difference, we're still leaking too many goals. It's actually not really improved that much.
No, it's not, and it seems to just be defensive errors or Calamity Jane type stuff that causes teams to score against us, apart from maybe West Dyke, who scored a bit of a worldie against us, which is not the team that you thought that would, but it's just one of those things, and I don't know what it is. Just nobody seems to want to take ownership when it gets to that point. Like, I mean, their third goal, I don't know why Liv is defending at that point. I mean, where's the rest of them? I don't really understand why she's the one that's running back to try and sort it out, but I don't really know what happened yesterday. It seemed like the whole team just had an off day, and that seemed to just, one player wasn't doing well, so everybody just kind of stopped and didn't seem that interested, to be honest. And obviously, after the game, they looked upset and they were annoyed, but that's on them. If they don't perform, then they have to take the responsibility of not performing well. It's just what happens. So we need to sort it out. We've only got one game left before the winter break, and, if we lose that, it's horrendous.
Yeah, really, we don't know what to think about that. Alan, I don't know if you watched Jo's post-match, but she was obviously saying like the quality wasn't there in the team and kind of lay the blame at the indoor, which obviously she's picked the team, so they go out and they're meant to deliver. But I would have liked to have seen her take a bit of the blame because she's obviously picked the team, changed the formation, kind of tinkered with it. So I would have liked to have seen her kind of go, right, I've kind of made too many changes or whatever. But what did you make our comments after the game?
I'd probably agree with you. I was slightly surprised that there was no mention, a changing system, and sort of a thought process behind that. Yes, the players sort of en masse didn't perform. I think we said when we were talking about it earlier, that the players are a good, honest group. I think they'll have a very honest look at themselves. I think they'll put the work in. They'll try to remedy it. But as a manager, you've got to get the best out of your staff or your players or whatever sort of line of work you're in by giving them the tools to make their job easy. And I think the way we're setting the team out, we're making it hard for players. We're making it hard for players to show their best. So, yeah, the players didn't play well, but I think they've been a wee bit hamstrung by the way they're getting sent out to play.
Yeah, Kat, interestingly as well, it was probably one of the quietest games Jo's had, which is surprising when we played that poorly. You'd expected her to kind of be more vocal, but she was just as if she'd kind of expected it to almost happen. It's as if it was like, this has been coming, so here it is, it's happened. Told them it was going to happen kind of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of weird seeing her just stood almost leaning against the side of the dugout, just looking kind of despondent, which it's not like her. She's one that stands and shouts and bawls at them and gives them instructions. And it's almost like she said to them, this is how you want you to play, go and play it. And if you don't do it, that's on you kind of thing. Instead of, during games, Jo changed things, which she did at half time, but she could have changed it again further during the game to maybe set us up a bit better. But I mean, Jay had more fight in her than Joe did yesterday, getting a yellow card for shouting something towards someone, and she ended up getting a yellow card in the first half. But it's bizarre, isn't it? I don't know if maybe she did take a bit of ownership in that moment and thought, I've messed this up, but I'm just going to stand here and not shout at them, because if I shout at them, it's on me because I've set them up to play this way, kind of thing. But maybe the players just need to say, we're not doing this, and go back to playing the way that they normally do. And just, if Joe wants to shout at them, that's fine, but at least we'll go and win a game, hopefully, if they play the way that they can. But maybe they're not going to do that, because I think they're a little bit scared of Joe. They don't want to get shouted at by her.
Okay, it's a bizarre one. So anyway, we'll 3-0 defeat. No great, but Alan, we have got a chance to remedy it, obviously, this weekend. Got Hibs at home, another BBC Alba game, 4:10 kick-off, so obviously hopefully the team go back it and get back to winning ways so that they can go and enjoy their break, rather than if it had been this game, then I think that would have ruined everybody's holidays.
Yeah, I'm certainly glad we've got a chance to get back to Broadwood and put this at least right a wee bit before Christmas. I think domestically we seem to turn around from bad results quite well. We tend to come back and do quite well in the next game. So Hibs are flying. Hibs are doing really well. So it'll be a big test for players. The players will really have to step up, because if we play like we did yesterday, Hibs will come and make a statement. Hibs will come and beat us at Broadwood if we play like we did yesterday. But I don't expect that to happen. I expect a reaction. I expect us to come out in the box pretty quickly, and I expect us to win. Don't expect us to keep a clean sheet, but I tend never to expect us to keep a clean sheet right now.
Yeah, the way the defence is playing. Car, do you see many changes being made? Do you think she'll kind of react to that? And hopefully she changes it back, to be honest.
I mean, I was going to say that. I kind of hope Mia starts, because I think Mia's been offering us a lot on the wing. And if we play with width, then Mia's the one that you want. Lizzie's great. Lizzie had a great start to the season, but it's kind of dropped off a bit. So I'd maybe start Mia and Brogan on the wings. I don't think Kirsty McLean and Liv McLaughlin should play together in the midfield. I think it should be Chelsea and one of them. Doesn't really matter which one. They're both about the same. Maybe Kirsty McLean's got a little bit more, flair and technical ability to her, but I think that probably works better for us. And then, I mean, up top, you probably stick with Rio and Wilco, but that's really what needs to change. It doesn't really matter who you play as long as you play that way, because they all seem to like that formation and play quite well in it. I'd like Megan to come back in, because she played quite well in a few games, but I doubt it, to be honest. Probably Kirsty Howitt and behind the strikers to change it again, likely.
And do you think Vic coming back in goals?
Probably, because it seems to be the way that she plays a couple, and if they play badly, then swaps them out. But I don't really know if that offers us much more. If the defence play better, then it's fine. But if they're not playing well, and then you've got the goalkeeper in behind who's not playing well, then it doesn't really make much difference. So probably just to give her some game time before we go into the winter break. But maybe Jenna needs a pick-me-up. She needs a game where she keeps a clean sheet and does well to rally round for Christmas, so to speak, and then come back in January and be feeling a bit better.
Yeah, Alan, what do you think of that? Do you keep Jenna just to kind of let her redeem herself, I suppose you could say, or do you bring Vic in? I think I kind of know what you're going to say, but let's see.
I would keep Jenna in, but I think it's probably quite important that Joe has a good look at both of them and how they react in training through the week. That it might affect Jenna's confidence to point out it's no wise to put her in, and it's best to take her out. But ideally, I think you stick with Jenna. The constant rotating the keepers, I don't see how it gains. When we actually had a longer run with one of the keepers playing last season, we started keeping more clean sheets. So, I think you've got to stick with a number one. And it's going to be harsh on the keeper. It's going to sit on the bench, but I think for the benefit of the team and the benefit of defence, you have to pick a keeper and stick with her.
Yeah, definitely. I think it helps the defence as well if they know kind of who's behind them and that they can trust them and communicate with whoever's actually, if they're going to run it, that they know whether they're going to get it or no. So yeah, there's tickets are on sale, I believe, still. So you get your tickets, go along. I'm sure it'll be kind of festive fun since it's the last game before the festive break. Um, and yep, hopefully it's back to winning ways. So news breaking today about the new Europa League kind of tournament car, which I think is quite a good thing. I think we've kind of spoke about it before, probably here or elsewhere. Um, looks to be quite good, and obviously gives you another opportunity in Europe if you kind of don't make it in the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, I think people have been crying out for a lower than Champions League competition for women's football for a while now, because it seems crazy to only have one competition, and it's always the kind of same ones that are winning it because they have the most money, have been going for the longest amount of time, and what have you. So it's good for other teams being able to go into, if they drop out of the Champions League, or just to go straight into that competition. It's a good thing in my eyes. I think it helps us because it gives us we win the league, we go into Champions League, we get knocked out. You've got another competition then to focus on instead of just being out altogether. But I didn't realise that it's kind of knockout football. I thought it'd be the same as the Champions League is, with kind of group stages and what have you. But it doesn't seem to be that way unless they maybe change it. I don't know. But it certainly is positive having a secondary European competition for other teams that maybe wouldn't get the chance.
Yeah, it gives that kind of bit extra that teams can get experience in European football, even if it's not the Champions League. There's still that kind of second tournament now.
Yeah, definitely. And, that'll sort of have an impact even on domestic leagues because there's extra European places to play for. And as Carl touched on, it does seem that it's going to start off at least being a straight knockout tournament, which, is going to be interesting to see, as that sort of develops. But, it gives players more opportunity to develop and more opportunity to learn, and I certainly don't want to see us in it, because I want us to be winning the league and going into Champions League. But, it's great to have that extra sort of bonus for the women's game.
Yeah, Kat, and it's good, as you said about the kind of knockout thing, it's going to be just trial and error. They're going to just need to see if it works, if people enjoy it, if people kind of tune in, and as well where they're actually going to show it as well. Because I would imagine TV deals will be kind of getting agreed in that as well to get more exposure to these teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Champions League has gone, the Women's Champions League and the men's have gone through different iterations. It was knockout at one point, it's then group stages, now it's gone to a league format. So, and they're doing the same with the Women's Champions League. So it will just take a bit of getting used to. And I suppose if it's knockout, you really have to go and give your all. You don't get the chance of, we've got another game, we can, it's fine kind of thing. So it makes it more interesting if, you come up against a bigger team and happen to get a good result. It means that you've knocked them out and they're done with, so to speak. So it makes it interesting. I don't know if maybe, is it DAZN will pick it up, like they've got the Champions League at the moment, but maybe Sky will come in for it, or maybe TNT Sports will want to pick it up, but they've got the men's European fixtures. So certainly interesting, and it means more money going to other teams that necessarily wouldn't get in the Champions League or potentially get far in the Champions League, like us, so to speak. So potentially more money being thrown around, which is always good, and more, you can get players to come in with we've got Europa Cup or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. We've got that, so come play for us, and you've got a chance to show yourself on a European stage that maybe wouldn't have done so if we hadn't had that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. So ending on a bit of a positive after a bit of next week. So get your tickets for the Hibs game, obviously. We'll hopefully see you there. And then we'll be there to discuss it next week as well. So thanks for joining me, Alan and Cash.
Thanks
Thanks
a
a
lot.
lot.
And we'll see you next time.